Hello, welcome to It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. I am excited. I'm excited about the show today. First of all, my great friend, Dr. Michael Mantell. Wow, I thought he had abandoned us. He's been gone for like 3-4 weeks, and he's back on the show today. And so happy to see him back and having him on the show. But the topic that we're going to talk about today, I tell you, Dr. Michelle Cooley came up with the topic. I am going to be in the learning mood, and we the only person that could really educate us on this one is Dr. Mantell. So I tell you what, I want to get the radio and television version started at the same time, and I'm ready to dive off into this topic. So Toddy, let's do it.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phases and stages. These are your experiences that teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the James Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and to overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I tell you, I am excited about this show today. I'm so excited about this show today because my great friend, Dr. Michael Mantell, you know, me and Michelle, and we've been on the road. He's been on the road, and we was missing his presence, and he's back today. But not just that, but we want to talk about this topic called mirror truth. And Michelle came up with this idea, and the only person that could really discuss this, I think, with clarity and also give us insight, is this great guest that we got on this show today. So, regardless of which platform you're watching this on or listening to it on, if you want to be part of this great conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're on and go to the comments and ask any question that you might have, or you can pick up the phone, call the radio and say, and their number is 1-866-577-2473. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Michelle, you know I can't start a program without the executive producer and the co-host. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, actually. This topic today, the guest, Dr. Michael Mantell, we're talking about it. And sometimes, through fate, sometimes these topics get presented to you wherever, you're looking at, or whether you're scrolling, you're like, this will be something really educational to discuss with the audience and getting the right person to discuss it. So definitely looking forward to the show today.
I'm looking forward to it. And I tell you what, I'm going to be in the learning mode. Of course, it's my show. I'm a host it, but I'm just interested in just learning a little bit more about this. Dr. Cooley, can you please introduce the title of the show, purpose of the show, and reintroduce this absolutely fabulous, marvelous, great guest that's been on the show umpteen times. Can you do that?
Oh, most definitely. So, audience, the title of today's show is called Mirror Truth, Embracing Your Authentic Beauty. And we're having a discussion with cognitive behavioral coach, keynote speaker, author, and advisor, Dr. Michael Mantell. We're going to talk about Body Dysmorphic Disorder, BDD, and what are the key symptoms, what are the causes, what are the key treatments, and what to do to prevent it. So let's kind of summarize our returning fan favorite guest again. For nearly 50 years, Dr. Mantell has been helping people of all ages and backgrounds to serve themselves less and creating lasting positive change with his compassion-based, rational, emotive behavior coaching methods. He's a member of the Science Advisory Council of the International Council on Active Aging, a longtime member of SAG-AFTRA since 1981, through which he has brought psychology to the public for decades in broadcast and print media, including Good Morning America, Oprah, Larry King, Men's Health, Women's Health, and many more. He has hosted several long-running podcasts, including 15 Minutes to Wellness for the American Council on Exercise. He's been featured in the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, the Wall Street Journal, and many, many more. So please welcome back to the show, Dr. Michael Mantell.
Thank you so much. That introduction was unreal. What a privilege it is to be with you both back again. As you said, we've both been traveling for good reasons. Although this obviously is not a good reason, but that's a whole separate story. But it is great to be here. And Michelle, the challenge when you asked me recently, could I talk about body dysmorphia? The challenge is to take a topic that sounds very clinical, very psychiatric, very medical, very serious, which it is, but find a way to bring some positivity to it. And you know that's what we do. So that's our goal. And before the show is over, that's the aim. Let's bring some positivity to this otherwise very weighty topic.
Wow. Hey, first of all, Doc, I want to congratulate you. Yes, I've been checking you out on your the SAG position. I think it was the chairman of the board or something like that. I mean, it's something that's huge, and I know you guys got some big challenges going on right now. So I want to be the first to congratulate you on that and welcome you back. And my friend, you've been thoroughly missed, and you already know that.
Thank you. Let me clarify real quickly. I've been a member of SAG-AFTRA, Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, since 1981. And I was just elected chair of the election committee, not chairman of the board. That's a whole, Fran Drescher is the president, but chairman of the election committee for our election coming up here. And that's going to be a great honor, especially during this challenging time of the strike that everyone is facing. We could do a whole show on that, and perhaps we should, but we'll get Fran Drescher to be the spokesperson for that one.
Oh, well, we certainly, I think we need to do that. Executive producer, I think we need to take that into consideration and get that done real soon. But Doc, I want to welcome you back. For people that haven't been following you, you've been a guest on our show many, many times, and always bring insight and enlightenment, and we inspiring others. Can you just give them a brief, because many been watching, or who is Dr. Mantell?
You would like me to do that?
Yes, I'm
gonna get my wife to go do that. Dr. Mantell is someone who likes to think way, way, way outside of the box, who likes to look at things and say, hey, why can't we do it this way? Dr. Mantell is someone who likes to help people think in healthier terms, who likes to take things that are very medicalized and black and white and say, hey, there are healthier ways to look at things. So that's why when we say I help people disturb themselves less, I love that, because the idea is to teach people psychological education, to teach people that life is the way it is, but the way we think about it can help us or harm us.
Wow. So, mental health awareness, mental health conditions, illnesses, this topic has been discussed so many times, and just so many times. So why is it important for the public to really hear this topic being discussed, in your opinion? And then we're going to get into the actual topic of the show.
Well, it's related, actually. It's a brilliant question. And so I love the question. The fact is that mental health is top of mind for most people today. Most people today are feeling stress, anxiety, depression. Suicide rates are increasing, especially even for young kids. We have more and more people turning to street medication that's laced with fentanyl, causing death. The mental health pandemic makes all the other pandemics that we have faced recently look like they're just clouds in the sky. The other issue is this. For too long, mental health has been a matter of symptom medicine. Tell me your symptom, here's the pill, come back in 3 weeks. And we know that that is failing. So we're in the middle of a tremendous positive rethinking of what health and mental health is anchored in. Yes, symptom medicine. People need that for sure. But there's also integrative and functional approaches. Let me quickly explain. I know we're going to take a break in a minute, but integrative means, what about exercise? What about yoga? What about mindfulness? What about social connections? What about spiritual connections? How do we bring those into helping people? Functional medicine means, let's look at the genetic predispositions that people have. Let's look at the environmental toxins, the nutritional aspects of people's well-being. So it's becoming a lot more vibrant to help people with their emotional well-being. No matter what people do, at the end of the day, they need to learn how to think differently. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Well, great. And before we get into break, we're going to talk about body dysmorphic disorder, known as BDD. First of all, can you tell the audience what exactly is it and why is this considered a mental health condition?
Well, first of all, it's only been diagnosed in America since 1987. That's amazing. It just became part of the diagnostic nomenclature, the label, in 1987. But it's been around since 1891, when a Italian psychiatrist, Enrico Maselli, I think his name was. I could be incorrect about that. I'll check during the break. But he came up with something called dysmophobia, some title like that. Dysmorphobia. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. But body dysmorphia, body dysmorphic disorder, BDD, is a mental health condition that involves obsessive thoughts. People can't stop thinking about some perceived imperfection in their physical appearance. So if I had BDD, I would never come on the air with this, because all I would be thinking is, oh my God, people are going to think I'm a loser. People are going to make fun of me. People are going to do this. These self-identified flaws usually bother the person with BDD, but they typically appear minor to other people, like, oh, well, he hurt his hand. But to the person with BDD, this is the end of the world. And people who struggle with low self-esteem or poor body image, this is a common experience for lots of people, both genders, by the way. Research says.
Hey, we're going to. I want to pick it up. There. But I tell you, if you're watching this on, it doesn't matter which platform you're watching on, radio. If you want to be part of this platform, because we get ready to dive deeper into this topic, BDD, all you do is just go to your platform comments, ask any question you want, or pick up the phone, 1-866-577-2473. It's your life. We'll be back shortly after the break.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Can't help it. Experiences that teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James Cooley is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. Dr. Cooley is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, Dr. James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I can just tell you right now that we're getting ready to break it down, especially Dr. Mantell getting ready to break it down and go deep into BDD, and it stands for Body Dysmorphic Disorder, something like that. I might have bushed it, but just long as we get an education out this, and I'm sitting back on this and doing like this and listening, and I hope you taking it in. Hey, Stacy, I see you watching. How you doing? How you doing? You know, and I see a lot of people watching this show right now. I just want to say, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the platform, the comments that you own, and just ask any question that you might have. And I promise you we'll get you an answer, or pick up the phone. 1-866-577-2473 is your life. And let's get back to the show. Dr. Cooley.
Yes, thank you. So, Dr. Mantell, before the break, you were telling the audience exactly what body dysmorphic disorder is. And also part of that question is, why is it considered a mental health condition?
So, yeah, we were talking about that, and sorry I ran over the break a little bit, but the fact is that this is not just like, gee, I think my nose is too big, or I don't like my hair. This is someone who is completely consumed, completely preoccupied by this perception of something being wrong with their body appearance. Typically, it's a focus on one aspect of their body, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But there are about 10 million people in America who suffer with this disorder. The International Obsessive Compulsive Disorder Foundation talks a great deal about that, and people can go to the OCD Foundation for more information, because it is an obsession that people have. They can't stop thinking about it. And we don't know exactly the cause of this. There are many things that relate to this. It could be a personality disorder, family history. It could be brain function. It could be diet. It could be early difficulties, being teased in some way about something or other. When I was a kid, I was teased because I had acne. Thankfully, it didn't become a dysmorphic disorder focusing on my complexion. But it's important to understand that this is not someone's fault. This is not someone's, this is not a sin of any kind. This is an actual mental dysfunction that interferes with daily life. So we can talk more about that as well. I want to point out, though, that there are 3 types of body dysmorphia, something that many people forget to talk about. How are we doing with our time? Can I go into that?
Good. No, keep on going.
So body dysmorphia, the common one, is thoughts about your appearance. In other words, you focus on some aspect. My ears are too big, a client of mine told me. Really? Okay, it doesn't look that way to me, but that's okay. You believe it, and that's what's important. And the second is reverse body dysmorphic disorder, meaning that they believe, let's say, they're very thin while they're living in a larger sized body. So they're buying clothes that never fit. They won't look in a mirror because they feel the mirror doesn't reflect them well. So that's the reverse BDD. And then we have something that's more and more popular in the gym world, and that is muscle dysmorphia. So muscle dysmorphia, also known as reverse anorexia, is a condition in which the person has a skewed perception of their muscles. They believe that they have tremendous musculature, Therefore, they're not working out, or they have not enough, and they got to overwork out, and this leads to an eating disorder. As we said before we began, anorexia is one of the most dangerous of psychological disorders. So this body dysmorphic disorder can lead to some pretty dangerous kinds of outcomes.
Wow. Is BDD mostly diagnosed in males versus females, or children, teenagers, or it doesn't matter what the age range is?
I wish we could diagnose it in teenage years. That's when it begins. The truth of the matter is we don't pay attention to it then. And I've said that about many emotional difficulties. We need to catch it early. That's probably the best way to prevent it. One of the questions is, how do you prevent it? Well, we'll talk about that, but certainly making sure that healthcare professionals, pediatricians, dentists, and you name it, are aware of how to listen carefully to people who are complaining about aspects of the way they look. I think that it's not found more often than in men or women. We'd like to think, well, more women have this than men. No, it's not true. It's not the case.
So my question is, when you were talking before, for BDD, these are people who they see things that they're not there, or they just they have I would say a skewed or unrealistic image of what they actually look like. So let's say a person has like a large nose, let's just say, and they want to do cosmetic surgery.
Right.
And that's the question I have. So BDD, are there cases where a person who's experiencing that, there is an exceptionally high repeat surgical procedures to fix what they think there is an issue regarding their body?
Absolutely. You see people who have the big lips, the eyes done, the face pulled back, the breasts, the rear end. I mean, everything is done on them. And you wonder, what are they thinking? Well, what they're thinking is, I'm not good enough, and I should look better. And it's terrible that I don't. And I can't stand the way I look. And this means I am worthless. I am no good. So can you imagine going from one surgical procedure to another? And I'm going to call it out. Cosmetic surgeons who just keep doing that surgery and don't ever sit down with people and say, let's talk about this. Have you thought about sitting down and talking with a mental health professional? They're afraid of offending people. So you have to know how to hear what the real concern is. Is it your nose, or is it what you're fearing other people think about you because of the size of your nose? Are you thinking those 4 thoughts? 1, it should be different. I should look different. 2, it's horrible that I don't look the way I demand I look. 3, I can't stand it. And 4, I'm worthless. I'm a piece of garbage because of the way my nose is, or my ears, or whatever it might be. And these are people who literally are so preoccupied, they don't go out. It affects their work, their job, their school, their people who they're close with. It's quite a disorder.
Wow. So we're talking about self-esteem, all of these things as relate and triggers mental health. So Dr. Mantell, what are some of the common triggers of BDD?
Triggers. So James, what do you mean by triggers?
Triggers mean that why a person start to feel this way, and why they locked in on those things. You're saying that a lot of people don't go outside. They don't want to do anything. So what I mean by triggers is they look at themselves, they do something, and it's like, okay, I'm not worthy. Just like
right. That's the key. So we go from, I don't like my gray hair, to I'm not worthy. Whoa, wait. How'd you go from gray hair to I totally am not worthy? Like I'm coming on a TV, radio, a podcast today with a wrapped hand. Oh my God, I'm a piece of dirt. I'm no good. How do we go? So that's a great question you're asking. The fact is, it starts with self-esteem. It starts with being overly teased. It starts perhaps with brain chemistry at a deeper level that leads to depression and leads to anxiety, because these are tied into it. Nobody who has body dysmorphic disorder is free of anxiety, depression, social anxiety, and some even lead to eating disorders and worse. The trigger comes from the belief that goes from my nose is too big or this or that's not right to I'm not worthy. How do we get there? Listen up carefully. I should have a different size nose. I keep picking on my nose. Number two, it's horrible. Well, it's just a nose. Number three, I can't bear it. Sure you can. And to them, number four, I'm a worthless piece of garbage. Body dysmorphic disorder, when that's the diagnosis, you're dealing with someone who has such self-loathing, such, I don't want to say hatred, because the people that I've worked with don't have hatred. They are just consumed by thinking their life would be better if only their ears weren't so big, or they weren't this size, or they were taller, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, we all, I believe, I'm talking about each and every last one of us has some type of, those triggers or symptoms that we feel that this portion of our body, this portion of our life, this portion of this is not worthy or being out there. And I think this is a great topic, but I tell you what, we got to take a station break right now. We're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back and we're going to pick it up. And we're going to continue to talk about this topic. And as you see, my great guest and friend is going to educate you and teach you. So if you want to be part of the conversation, just join in, whichever platform you're on. Ask any question that you like. I promise we'll get it on there. Pick up the phone and call the radio station, 1-866-577-2473. It's your life, and we'll be back shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, Dr. James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, wow, what Dr. Mantell is putting out, and I mean, just this topic in general. I believe that it affects all of us because self-esteem, not feeling good enough, and sometimes just want to pity ourselves, kind of could create mental disorder. Hey, Todd, I'm curious to get your thoughts on what you think so far.
Oh, I have been learning a lot. Dr. Mantell he never fails to disappoint when he comes on. And, this is just such a serious topic. And like I said, it affects so many people. So, and this body dysmorphic thing is just prevalent. And I think males and females nowadays, and no one's talking about it. So it's good that you're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear this talked about that much. And so I'm so happy that Michelle and Dr. Mantell put this together. And we're educating our listeners and our viewers all around the world. And because they're not probably experiencing some of the symptoms, but not knowing what it is until now. So, hey, Dr. Mantell, this topic is so important. And I believe that BDD could lead to people that's not feeling good about themselves, want to commit suicide or have suicide thoughts or behavior. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And this is one of the reasons it's important to catch it early, and it's important to not make it not to stigmatize it and not to blame people. I want to take you through 3 questions. Dr. Cooley, either Dr. Cooley, the esteemed Dr. Cooley's, I'm going to give you 3 questions that'll help you understand, do you have it? So this is as much for you, which I know you don't, but how about our listeners? Number 1, are you very worried about your appearance in any way? Are you unhappy with how you look in any way? And if the answer is yes, what's your concern? And if it's like, I like to look good, when I come on the air, and I like to look good when I, do things, whatever. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who focus on their face, their nose, their complexion, their hair, their skin, their vein appearance, their breast size, their muscles, whatever it might be. Really focus in on those specific things. Number 2, second question. Does this concern preoccupy you? In other words, do you think about it a lot? And do you wish you could think about it less? You wake up thinking about it. It's part of your day. You think about it when you're going to sleep. How much time do you really spend thinking about this? When I get dressed, I look in the mirror. I want to check and make sure it looks good. Or, oh my God, that's all I think about. Number 3, what's the effect that this preoccupation has had on your life? Has it interfered with your schoolwork, your job, your relationships, other aspects of your life? Does it cause you a great deal of stress? And has it affected your family or your friends? Those are the questions to know whether or not this is a problem or not. And if the answer is, not really, I just am concerned. I want to look good. I want to make sure I'm put together. Great, go enjoy life. But if your answer is more severe, please get some help. Go online, look at the Body Dysmorphic Association, the Body Dysmorphic Foundation, the OCD Foundation. Talk to your physician, your psychiatrist, a psychologist, a coach. Get some help. They can help you understand whether this is really serious and you need medication or psychotherapy or coaching or something else.
Wow. Hey, Doc, I'm curious, just thinking about this. And I know most of the adults or grown folk already listen to this. How does this affect our youth? I mean, who's being bullied in school and who's thinking that they are not. I'm primarily speaking from the middle school, high school perspective. You got any thoughts on that, and what should parents consider doing if they can?
Yeah, if parents see that their kids are extremely preoccupied with a perceived flaw in the child's appearance. They're always talking about it. They're always focused on it. They believe that their defect in their appearance makes them ugly or deformed in some way, or believe that that everyone's staring at me, Mom, I don't want to go. Or they engage in behaviors to hide and camouflage this. What are you doing? Oh, I don't want people to see this about me. They hide their flaws with styling or their makeup. They're constantly comparing themselves. When you're a parent and you hear that in a teenager in particular, because that's when this really comes to the forefront, it's time to talk to your child, not tell your child, but ask your child, honey, tell me a little about what you're thinking. It sounds like you're thinking a great deal about the way your hair looks. You're thinking a lot about your size of your nose. Well, I hate it, and it makes me look ugly, and people tease me. But what do you think? Do you think you're ugly? And talk to your child. And then ask your child if he or she would be comfortable talking with someone who knows a great deal about this subject. Try to avoid phrases like a professional or a psychiatrist or psychologist. That scares the heck out of kids. So would you like to talk to someone who knows a lot about this? Maybe we can read together about this.
Wow. Hey, Doc, so are there any effective treatments for BDD? And can a person relapse after successful treatments if there is any?
Absolutely. The answer is yes, there are successful treatments, although when you read the literature, it says very clearly there is no cure. I don't buy that. I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. I've been a practicing psychologist before I retired from that for about 5 years or so, something like that, and was a chief psychologist at Children's Hospital in San Diego, and on and on. And yes, I know that people can be helped through this and get past it. So when you read there's no cure, be suspicious about that. Let's talk about the treatment. But before we talk about the treatment, I just want to comment a little bit about some of the complications that come from this, because you can get into these mood disorders if you don't take care of it. Suicidal or self-harm behaviors, anxiety like OCD or social phobia, I'm not going to go places, eating disorders, substance abuse disorders, complications related to multiple cosmetic surgeries that Michelle talked about earlier. The list goes on. So we need to step in. What do? Number one, we know that SSRI, serum serotonin reuptake inhibitors, antidepressant medications, are a very common step in the care of people who have body dysmorphic disorder. So that list includes, I have a list here. I want to make sure I have the full list. I wrote this down, but that includes things like Celexa. The doctor may prescribe Lexapro or Prozac or Zoloft or Paxil or Anafranil. These are very common. Usually it's a 12-week course, and then you're weaned off of it because of side effects. That's the medical approach. Psychological approach is teaching people to question their thoughts. What makes you think your nose or your breasts or your eyes or your hairline must be different? And how does that connect to you having lower self-worth? Let's talk about the way you talk to yourself about these things and how you link these to your self-worth. That is the real key, with medication or without. Some do need medicine because of the amount of depression and anxiety they feel. But the ultimate key is learning how to think differently.
Wow. Thinking differently and being able to instill in, oneself, I'm talking about personal, that you are worthy, that you got purpose, that God made you. God made you the way that he wanted you to be. You're perfect for him. You're perfect for you.
And I know we got to take a break in a minute, but real quickly, he didn't make a mistake. Your nose is like, he didn't say, oh, what did I just do to that person? His nose is too big. What a worthless piece of junk. No. That's what we teach people to think differently about.
And, you know, and I believe, just like I do this commercial, know yourself, love yourself, accept yourself before you share yourself. Right. And I believe that message there is so important to understanding that you are a masterpiece, just like what you just said.
That's why your book is so important. That's why your book is so important. That's why I love being on your show.
And we absolutely love having you on, Doc, but we're going to take a station break. But we're going to come back and we're going to pick it up again and continue to talk about all of these great things. And I tell you, our viewers out there, if you want to be part of this conversation, whichever platform you're watching it on, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have, become part of the conversation, or just pick up the phone and dial 1-866-577-2473. Remember, it's your life, and we'll be back shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Cooley is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, Dr. James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And I got to tell you that, and I'm going to say it, Dr. Michael Mantell is my, favorite guest. I just have to put it out there. It's just such a joy. And it's and you all are listening. So every time we have him on, it's so inspiring and so educational that Michelle and I just look forward to it. I mean, we be praying he gonna say, "Hell, yeah, I'll be there," because we know that our audience is going to get an education. They're going to learn things that they probably did not know anything about, and they are going to be inspired. So, hey, Doc, Dr. Mike, man, love having you on the show. But before we start this, I got to say, hey, I got to put a plug in for a Black Man Point of View, Mind, Body, and Soul. I tell you, when I wrote that book almost a year ago, I mean, it's been out 3 weeks now, and it's doing extremely well. And it's a lot of people look at the title, Black Man Point of View, Mind, Body, and Soul. They think it's all about Black people. No, this book is about all people. It's about love. It's about compassion. It's about understanding initially what goes on in a Black man's head, based on history, based on slavery, based on colonization, and all that other stuff. But leads up to, it's a roadmap to forgiveness and love and understanding and engaging in all people, regardless of race, creed, or color. And so that's a roadmap to how you understand what's going on in a person's mind and how we engage in loving each other. So I had to put that out there. Hey, Dr. Mantell, this is so an extraordinary conversation that we're having with BDD. And
so I want to tell you something about something you just said, James, and that is the name of the book, Inside the Heart of a Black Man. Inside the heart. That's where it's at. Body dysmorphic disorder is about, I don't like something about my outside. And when your book is read by someone who has body dysmorphic disorder, they say, maybe I'm focusing on the wrong thing. Maybe my earlobes being too big is not the issue. Maybe I need to focus on my heart. What's inside is far more important than what's on the outside, unless you have this mental health condition called body dysmorphic disorder.
So Doc, so just seemed like, just like I said, great topic, great everything. What happens if there is no treatment and a person just crawl over in a little corner or room and not do anything? What could be some of the, I mean, I hate to even think about it.
Well, some of the complications of not taking care of this mental health condition or taking care of it poorly, just having a pill thrown at you and not focusing on the functional and integrative approaches that mental health care bring today, it can lead to death, suicide, can lead to extreme social phobia to the point where someone doesn't go outside, doesn't work, doesn't go to school, doesn't go to class. I have a young man who was sent to me because he wasn't even going on Zoom, even though you can close the picture. But his body dysmorphia, he had a voice that he didn't like, and he thought that meant something terrible about him. It wasn't a physical thing, it was his voice, unusual for BDD. But so it can have tremendous impact on curtailing life, even to the extreme.
Wow. And it's probably, I'm just going to ask this question, it's probably no ways to cure or prevent this, or is it? Or what are your thoughts?
I think the answer is we can do both. Despite what the literature will have us believe that you can't cure it, you can. People can learn to disconnect this conditional rating of the size of their eyebrows or their cheekbones or whatever it might be, the size of their breasts, linking that to their self-worth. People can learn how to disconnect. What do we say Dr. Mantell likes to do? Teach people how to disturb themselves less. There it is. So that takes time. It takes practice. It doesn't happen in a couple of weeks. It takes a long time to learn how to do that. And something we use sometimes called exposure coaching, meaning we have a person exaggerate. We have them imagine that the flaw that they think is far worse and come to grips with that. And then they can learn how to come to make peace with what the reality is. As far as prevention, James, a lot of it is catching the signs early. Negative life experiences, childhood teasing. If your child is teased, recognize that that could be a problem. Certain personality traits, such as perfectionism, when you see that in a youngster, it must be perfect. It's got to be exactly the certain way. That's an early trigger. Societal pressures or expectations of beauty. If your youngster is constantly watching social media and comparing and despairing, that's an indication. Another mental health condition, such as anxiety or depression, or social phobia, those are other things to be on the alert for. Can you prevent it? The eternal optimist in me and the person with 50 years of experience in this field says it takes some time and it takes some real skill, but I believe we can catch it and we can begin to prevent it.
Wow. Hey, Doc, we're down to the last 2.5 minutes of the show. Are there any support groups or resources available for individuals that might have just noticed that they might be experiencing these conditions?
Great question. A good place to come to an end. If you look up Body Dysmorphic Disorder, BDD, on the internet, but the BDD Foundation is one resource that provides help. Fear to Courage is another website, and the BDD Recovery Online Support Group is another one that's private, confidential. You don't have to give away who you are if this is an issue you have. So those are 3 places to go to.
Doc, what are 3 takeaways that you want our viewers and listeners to get from this absolutely wonderful topic?
That there is no one way that you must be, and that if you think you should be different, let's start challenging that. Number 2, challenge the idea that it's horrible that you're not taller, or that this is not right, sized right, or that isn't. Question that. Number 3, it has nothing to do with your worth as a person. Self-esteem is a cancer because it's conditional. And then the most important point is there is help available. You do not have to suffer and hide. Change the way you think. Change the way you connect these body images that you have to your self-esteem. Get some help, and you can grow through this.
Hey, Doc, how can people get in touch and enlist your services? Because you are helping so many people out there. And how can they get in touch with you?
Thank you for asking. People can reach me directly to my email. I like to be the coach in your pocket. I take text messages all the time. Dr. D.R. Mantell, D.R. Mantell at me.com. D.R. Mantell at me.com.
Well, Dr. Mantell, man, it's always a pleasure and a privilege just to have you on the show. And as you already know, now your show going to be kicking off real soon. And can you tell our viewers, we've got about 30 seconds before Todd get on me.
Absolutely.
A little bit about your show.
Because of you, James and Michelle. So we're Dr. Melody Hermel, been on your show a couple of times, and I are starting a show called Health Above All. We're going to have tremendous guests in medicine and healthcare come on every Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. More to come.
Wow, I'm looking forward to it, and I want to thank you for taking the time to come on the show. You already know you got an open invitation. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I tell you, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life.
Thanks for joining us for the James Cooley Show. It's your life. To learn more about Dr. James Cooley and how you can support the show or become a guest, visit CooleyFoundation.org. Join James for more motivation and inspiration to help you become equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. This has been It's Your Life with Dr. James Cooley, where you learn how to dream big, think big, and be big in everything you do.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.